Well, I think that the core of television will look like pretty much as it is. Then I talk about the content. The TV content, whether it's drama, entertainment, sports, or news, is based on good stories, whether it's written by somebody or whether it happens. If you talk about what happens in news or in sports, which is unscripted beforehand. So that will remain. I mean, the good stories will always touch people's emotions, and they will be talked about. So that core, which has been the same, will remain the same. But then on the other hand, there will be quite a big change that how people can access to this content. Now most of the viewing happens still on linear basis. More than 90% of that is based on linear viewing. People watch it while it comes, and they still do watch it via mostly in the, let's say, traditional TV sets, whether they are normal TVs or smart TVs, or then you can access, of course, via mobile devices, tablets or mobile phones. But then the big change is that there's more and more of this so-called non-linear viewing or watching. People access the content later, and they can do it via different services, via different devices. So it's kind of this linear, non-linear, what will be the balance of those in the coming 10 years? That's the interesting question that we broadcasters mostly think about. How quickly will things change, or how slowly? And so it's always a matter of time. And but yeah, there will be a lot of change. But the consumer, the main thing will remain the same, as I said, but it will be more consumer-centric. I.e., the consumer or the human being is more in the center point, because he or she has more choices than ever. And that's why it's more consumer-driven than broadcaster-driven. I think that's one fundamental change as well. Well, it comes to a very single thing. It's a lot about the brands. Whether we talk about the program brand, i.e., a name of a program, or then we come to the channel brands or the service brands who offers that content that people want to watch. So since the amount of content has exploded, then in order to find out, the branding issue is really, really important. Strong brands will be more valuable than ever. And also it's always the good content, good news travel fast, and bad content nobody will find it, or it will be very small amount of people. So it starts with the substance. If there's a good content, how it can travel within normal media, and then within social media, people can really find out that this is great. You can watch it from here and there. And then the other hand, millions and millions of pieces of video or program will be there, and only very few people will watch it because it's not interesting enough for certain target audiences or then big masses. So it's a matter about the content, as I said for the first topic, and then it's about the brands, that how well those can be found, and then it's about branding. It's about what's top of mind, what services, what channels, what brands are well perceived, and that's of course also from different consumer groups. A 15-year-old guy and a 65-year-old lady may have different preferences in these circumstances, but brand value for the audience, i.e., the people that is in the target audience, they will choose. And as I said, consumer has more power than ever to choose from, but still navigation is important. Then it's brand, and of course the user interfaces, whether it's mobile phones, tablets, television sets, how easy they are, how easy to use they are, how easy it's to connect them, how easy it's to navigate. It's like one push of a button should be pretty much the maximum, and everything that goes beyond that, it gets complicated, and that's one danger. And some of the services are, at least at this point, still a bit too difficult or complicated to use. Only newly married, and then there's still a lot of in that marriage that should be worked on. A lot of things go together, but still, I think that when we talk about the seamlessness, that should be the goal with television and internet. Is there's still a lot to do, and then we have to kind of even when I think about the terminology, is that what is television talk about the end device that we use it with, or do we talk about the distribution mechanism, or do we talk about who's kind of the sender of the signal? So it's already in today these two wordings they get mixed up very much because we think it too traditionally. But I think the end product is not changing that much. It will be good content in various forms, and it will be just more easily accessible from the consumer side, so they can access it easier, and that also will create more viewing. Even now we see that TV viewing in the traditional set, watching on the TV in the home, in a living room or another room, is at all-time high levels, and all this non-linear viewing that takes place is on top of that. So the consumption of TV content is larger than ever, for sure. In the year 2013 and 2014, it will be even larger or bigger, the amount. So, but how it will be consumed, that is where the main change takes place. And the babies will be perhaps new innovations, smaller things, at how certain new formats to be developed, which are based on some older or well succeeded older formats. Something new can be added on, but it's not a fundamental change. It will be new smaller changes that will add on something or will cut out something that we are used to. So it's still that people like to watch good content, and that it's like if you take a bonfire a few thousand years ago, it's people around the fire, and somebody's telling good stories, and those are listened to. And if somebody is silent or very boring, his or her stories will be not that much listened. So it's the fundamental will be very similar, as I said, and also the quality perhaps has even higher demand, since the screens that watch this content through are better and better. So the production quality has a value because people can see it in a larger, brighter, cleaner screens. So, and they are used to high quality. So crap will not be very interesting to big audiences, whether it's content crappy from the content point of view or crappy from the let's say production value point of view. So it's people are very good in media literacy, and they can very easily put things on side which don't meet their criteria. I think the single factor is what I already mentioned, is the linear versus non-linear. I mean, the non-linear viewing will increase dramatically, and I think that is the biggest single changing factor, because now it will be possible and it will be available for big audiences to watch their favorite content after it has been broadcasted. Before, if we go 10 years back, we only had VHS. Then we got digital video recorders, which is still a device that you have to steer yourself. Now there will be massive amounts of content on servers, different kind of servers in different kind of places where you have that content which you otherwise would have missed. So that's why, as I said, the use of TV content, the viewing of TV content will be higher and higher, because the availability will be higher and higher. Just to give an example, we as a Finnish leading broadcaster, on our web TV service called Katsomo, last year in 2012, 100 million TV programs, viewing times took place. In a small country of 5.4 million, year 2012, 100 million views of one service. So that tells. Then when we put that into comparison how many views we had on the live TV broadcasting side, the 100 million is still tiny, but it tells about the direction, and it tells about the potential and the willingness of consumers to consume their favorite content also in another form than in the linear form. So I think it's a very good example of seeing that the development is really going on, and with better equipment, better devices, better services, it will explode in a very massive way. But it will not take away the original way of viewing, but it will be kind of add-on, and then we see that how big proportion will go to this direction and how quickly. So that's the amount, or the proportion, or then the time factor, that how quickly it will change, or how slowly it will change. But it's easier. It's very interesting to view from let's say people who work in the industry from our perspective. But the consumer is the king.